All right, today we're talking tips for newer federal employees, about 10 things or so I think you're gonna find really valuable if you're just getting started in your federal career. Maybe you're transitioning from private industry, or maybe you're a younger person just getting started out professionally as a federal employee. Either way, it's gonna be a ton of value here in what we're gonna share. My name is Justin, of course, I'm a certified financial planner. I've been at this for a long time, helping federal employees and their families, and I'm also part of a federal family myself. So I know about one or two of these tips that we're gonna be talking through from the experience of my wife. And I wanna go ahead and get right into it, but if you have a chance, give us a like and a share. It helps us, continue to share this educational information with our network and our community. First one on my list, make sure you're contributing enough to the TSP. This is a no-brainer, and I know this advice is out there all over the place, but it's worth repeating, okay? So there's up to a 5% contribution your agency will make on your behalf, which is added compensation to the TSP if you contribute up to 5% of your salary. Okay, it works like this. There's an automatic 1% contribution that they'll make for you, no matter what you do, even if you don't contribute to the TSP. And then there's a 4% matching contribution that goes in when you contribute 5%. Okay, so that makes up the total 5 that you can receive from your agency. Okay, the good news is automatic enrollment now, you are, as a new employee, enrolled in the TSP with a 5% contribution. Okay, so good stuff there. Don't opt out of it. Make sure you stay in and get that added compensation, and consider investing more if you can. You can invest up to $23,000 a year in an employer-sponsored retirement plan like the TSP. And there's also an added catch-up contribution if you're over the age of 50. You can make additional contributions of $7,500 a year. So figure out what's right for your situation, but if you could make additional contributions, it'll help you in the long run. Number 2 on my list, don't overlook the Roth TSP. Especially if you're a younger employee, you're likely to be in a lower tax bracket than you may be in the future, and that's where the Roth can really have a lot of value, okay? So if that's the situation, the Roth could be the right choice for the majority of your contributions. And even outside of that, the Roth can still be a nice fit for a portion of your contributions because of the virtues of tax diversification, which is simply how you split your contributions between account types that carry different tax benefits. Pre-tax has a tax deduction. Roth carries the promise of tax-free income in the future. So it's pay later versus pay now. Okay, that's essentially the way to think about traditional or pre-tax versus Roth. This is gonna help you create flexibility and choices in the future, okay? The virtues of tax diversification are we don't know which direction tax rates go from a policy standpoint, although a lot of people think they do, we just really don't. We may be able to have a better idea of where your personal tax rate goes based on the amount of income you're making today versus what we can project into retirement, okay? So that could be a little more controllable, but don't overlook the Roth TSP. Figure out what contribution might be right for your situation. Number 3, we're gonna build on that Roth topic. Incorporate tax diversification in your plan. So as I mentioned, tax diversification is simply how you contribute your funds to different account types. Different account types carry different tax benefits, different tax rules. So as I mentioned, pre-tax will give you an upfront deduction, so you don't pay tax on the contributions that you make to the account, and it grows tax deferred. And when you pull money out of that account, it comes out as ordinary income. Okay, so fully taxable. The Roth, in contrast, you're taxed on the contribution on the way in, so it counts as income in the taxable year that you earn that income. It grows tax deferred, and it comes out tax-free if it's a qualified distribution, which just means you have the account open for 5 years and you're over the age of 59 and a half. And then, of course, there's a taxable investment account that you can fund as well. That's a pay-as-you-go account. Of course, you pay tax on the earnings of the year that you make them, salary. When you contribute to this account, if it has earnings of its own, dividends, capital gains, you pay in the year that you receive those benefits, okay? So they all work together to give you this blended tax situation, which can give you flexibility and choice. So not just when it comes to tax rates in retirement, but also, how do you access money before age 59 and a half? If you have other goals, home purchases, other major spending, kids expenses, education planning, those sort of things that you may need to plan for. You can't do that with, if all your money's tied up until age 60. So just remember, maxing out may not always be the best option. It just depends on how much capital you have available to contribute in any year, and then kind of working through how you want to divide that up between the different account types to give yourself flexibility and choices for what your goals are, okay? Incorporate tax diversification. Number 4 on my list, FEGLI, Federal Employee Group Life Insurance. Enroll in FEGLI. Make sure you do this. It's a no-brainer as a new federal employee because it's a great way to get insurance without any underwriting. So you can protect your family up to 6 times your salary. Okay, so there's 1 time, which is automatic with the basic coverage, 1 time your salary. It's like plus $2,000 rounded up. And then of course you can add up to 5 times your salary with the multiple option, okay? Now it's not cheap, So what we want to do is enroll on that right up front. If you need the full 5 times, I don't know what the right call is for your situation. Think about how much you might need, but at least take the basic option and then work through what your family actually needs, what the other options are. Never cancel any insurance coverage till you have something else securely in place. But leverage Fegway from that standpoint as a new employee so you have something in place to protect your loved ones. Underwriting isn't required if you enroll as a new hire, which can be a big advantage if you're not necessarily insurable as well. Number 5 on my list, understand how the FERS basic annuity works. This is one of the most powerful benefits you have. Pensions are so rare, and this is a good pension, and it's changed over the years, but it's still a great benefit, okay? So understand how this thing works. All right, so a pension is simply a promised benefit in the future. It's a defined benefit in the future, and there's a formula to determine what that benefit will be. And it works out like this. So essentially, it's your high 3 salary times your years of service times your multiplier. And that multiplier for most federal employees is going to be 1% or 1.1%, depending on your years of service and when you retire. The 1.1% multiplier will apply at age 62 with 20 more years of service, okay? So there's more to know about the FERS basic annuity in terms of, how much service time you have to put in, your minimum retirement age, when you can first claim it without big reductions. A lot to know about it, but take some time to understand how it works. But you can keep the idea in the back of your head that you're going to get 1% of your salary or 1.1% of your salary for every year that you work, based on what that final high 3 average is, okay? And that can play into your decision to stay a federal employee, right? This is a powerful benefit worth a significant amount of money. It has changed from the standpoint of what you're contributing. So new employees contribute 4.4% versus some legacy employees paid, a lesser rate. If you're curious how much is worth, run the numbers. We can help you with that. Number 6 on my list, name beneficiaries. So especially on your FEGLI coverage, your Federal Employee Group Life Insurance coverage, make sure you have the right beneficiaries named, and on your TSP account, do the same thing. And this rings true for any account that you have out there, not just within your federal benefits. You have other IRAs, Roth IRAs, different types of accounts. Make sure you have beneficiaries named, updated to where they should be. We've seen stories where, ex-boyfriends from college, ex-girlfriends from college, ex-spouses remain on accounts. Also a good opportunity to check in on your overall estate planning. Have you updated your documents? Do you have them in place? Those sort of things. All right, let's move on to number 7. Look at FSA accounts. So these are flexible spending accounts. There's 3 of them that you can enroll in: healthcare FSA, dependent care FSA, and then of course a limited expense healthcare FSA. So if you have these type of expenses that you want to plan for, this can be a benefit. You put pre-tax dollars in, so you get some savings from a tax standpoint if you leverage these accounts, okay? Consider the FSAs. Number 8 on my list, get your TSP allocations right. This is a big one, and so many times we see this as, either too aggressive, too conservative. It's just not the right mix for you, okay? And the default option, again, is a life cycle fund, which is better than what it used to be. It used to be the G fund, so that's better if you're a younger employee. You don't want to be locked up in the most conservative fund necessarily. But life cycle funds are a little tricky. They're not as straightforward as you might think. They do carry significant international exposure, and they might carry more fixed income exposure than you want, or vice versa. So it just depends. So make sure that mix is right. There's only 5 core funds: CS, I, G, and F. The CS and the I are the 3 stock funds. G and the F are the 2 fixed income or bond funds. It's not that difficult to take the time to understand how they work together and create the right mix for you. It's better than using a life cycle fund, understanding what you're investing in, why you're investing in it, making sure it's the right mix for you. Worth doing that, okay? Some other tips along that standpoint, getting those allocations right. Don't try to time the market. We hear this a lot. People want to move in or out of the market based on some news cycle. Don't try to do that. Get invested, stay invested, and let your financial plan drive what those allocations should be, okay? Timing the market is nearly impossible. Even the experts they're no good at it, okay? So don't try to time the market. Number 9, save and invest 20% of your income if you can. I know this could be a high number, okay? But we like to throw it out there to encourage you to invest as much as you can now while time is on your side. So as we said, today is the best time to start investing, okay? No matter what, today is your best opportunity because today's dollars are worth more than tomorrow's dollars. All right, so maybe you can't get to 20% right now. Start where you can, and every chance you get, increase those contribution amounts, whether it's to your TSP, whether it's to your taxable investment account, whether it's to a Roth IRA, whatever it might be. Increase those amounts so you can continue to leverage up. Try to get to 15, 20. If you can save more than 25% of your funds on an annual basis, that's wonderful. Run the projections to see if that's going to get you where you need to be. Okay, if you can save more, do it. But we don't want to sacrifice who you are, the balance that we all need to have within life. So, consider that as well. It's important to spend and enjoy things. Number 10 on my list, make a real financial plan. Okay, we hear this a lot too. So many times, federal benefits are not a financial plan. They're a wonderful foundation. They're pieces within, like the FERS basic annuity that a lot of private industry folks don't have. They wish they did. It's a wonderful benefit, but you do need to do the rest of the financial planning. Incorporate tax diversification. Think about investing in a taxable investment account. Think about where your cash flow is going. Think about your insurance coverages, right? What do you need from a life insurance standpoint, long-term care, disability, those sort of things, estate planning. Think about that, right? There's so much more that goes into a holistic financial plan than just federal benefits. They're a big part of it, but there's all these other planning areas that we need to consider. So make a real financial plan. Do it as soon as you can. All right, number 11, I'm going to throw a bonus one in here. Ask for help, create your support system. I think this is important enough to include. For me, it's been wonderful. It's been a way to really level up by asking other professionals, incorporating other people in my life for help, places where I'm not an expert, places where I can use that help. So, find partners and financial advisors, accountants, attorneys, whatever it might be, where you need help. And also find a mentor. It goes along the same thing. So within your agency, if you see somebody that's had a lot of success that you look up to, approach them, right? Find a mentor, somebody that you can learn from, within that professional environment that you're in, and how you want to aspire to advance your own career. So I hope those 11 things help. There are more that we can talk about, but that's where we're going to get started for today. And I hope you find some value here. If you have, please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.